Hello there, good evening. Some sad news tonight. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died. Tonight, extensive analysis on her impact on the royal family, history, and what's next. First, a look at how the day unfolded and how world leaders across the globe have been offering their condolences to the royal family. September 8th, 2022, at approximately 7:45 a.m. in the morning, Buckingham Palace releasing a statement saying Her Majesty's doctors are concerned for her health. And then, later in the afternoon, the royal family confirms that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died. Condolences to the royal family poured in quickly, including here in Canada from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Her Majesty died at the age of 96 and led an extraordinary life from her childhood up until the final days of her serving as Queen. Prime Minister Liz Truss addressed the nation following the sad news of the passing of Her Majesty.
We are all devastated by the news that we have just heard from Balmoral. The death of Her Majesty the Queen is a huge shock to the nation and to the world.
Former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson also releasing a statement saying, "This is our country's saddest day. In the hearts of every one of us, there is an ache at the passing of our Queen, a deep and personal sense of loss, far more intense, perhaps, than we expected." The Queen's son, King Charles, also releasing a statement here in Canada. The leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, Candice Bergen, also releasing a statement as well. Now, there's no doubt that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II made her impact on the royal family, and for generations to come, children will be learning about Her Majesty. Someone who knows politics in this country in particular well is former Ontario Premier Kathleen OBrien, who I spoke with earlier today. Here's that conversation. Kathleen, maybe begin by explaining, obviously, the way that Canada's institutions are designed. We live in a constitutional monarchy here in Canada, the monarch being Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty. She has now sadly died. Your reaction to that?
I was very sad today. I was 1 month old when Queen Elizabeth II was crowned. I wasn't born when she ascended the throne. And so for my entire life and the span of my life, she's been the monarch. And I think she has been a very dignified, stabilizing force for obviously for Great Britain, but for Canada as well.
And when you look at now how countries like Canada are mourning, how they are reacting to the death of Her Majesty, I mean, what do you ultimately get the sense of just from talking with others? How do people feel in your view as it relates to the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, and how significant is it that she has now passed? You know, as you mentioned, for a lot of people that are living here on Earth today, this Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty, has been their only monarch that they've ever experienced.
Yeah, and I think that people for whom that's the case, which is, as you say, most of us in Canada, except for the generations that came before me, there's a lot of sadness, you know, because she is beloved. And I heard someone on the radio today saying that she's the best known and most beloved person on the planet. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how we measure that, but she is known across the globe because of her longevity as the Queen, and because of the reach of the British Empire. You know, she has she has been such a force for so many years, and therefore I think there will be an adjustment period for people. I think people are finding it strange to be talking about King Charles III.
And I guess when you look at Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty, when, obviously because of the way that Canada is and how technically the Queen is our head of state, whenever she would come to Canada, I believe she came to Halifax in, I think it was 2010. And so that would be called kind of a royal visit as opposed to something else. So, I mean, I guess what is your reaction to how, when the Queen has come to Canada? Obviously, she's, as you mentioned, very beloved amongst not just people in Canada, but really around the world. How do you feel ultimately Canadians felt about her and now reacting to this tragic and sad news, obviously?
Well, I think people love her, and I had the opportunity when I was a cabinet minister in Dalton McGuinty's cabinet to be at a luncheon with her. It was a large crowd, so I didn't really get a chance to meet her, but I could feel in the room that I was in with, there were a few hundred people there, the respect that people had for her. And I think that is widely felt across the country. And even for people who do not hold other members of the royal family in high regard, many of those people still feel very strongly about the Queen, and that she's a fine person, and that she's weathered so many storms, and she's been a stable and kind and decent voice that has she has not gotten involved in the trials and tribulations of the day. She's managed to rise above them and help people to do the same, including as recently as with the COVID crisis. She was a voice of comfort and dignity, and that will be sorely missed.
All right, former Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne. Premier Wynne, as always, good to chat with you, and thank you for making the time on obviously this very sad day for many people across the globe.
Thanks, Wyatt. Look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, that will do it for coverage tonight of the unfortunate passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The whole world shocked tonight to learn of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The Wyatt Sharp Show will continue to bring you extensive analysis and what this means for the future of the royal family and just how things might unfold from here. That will be coming up in the coming days and in the coming weeks.